Now we want to talk a little bit about how these beliefs affect our lives. And so one of the beliefs that is very common for a lot of people is this belief that we're unworthy. And that is something that children get because number one is when we're children, we are powerless because we are the children. And I don't know if you all heard this when you were younger, but I got a lot of because I said so and things like that, messages from the adults around me, and that children are to be seen and not heard. And so, children are put in a very powerless position, especially in the past. It's getting better with adults nowadays. But, and so you learn when you're a child that you are powerless and you feel very powerless. And because of that, some of us take on beliefs that we're unworthy, because if we don't even have a voice, then how can we be worthy? And we don't even realize that we take that on. We don't take it on in a verbal way. We just take it on a feeling way of like, because I'm a child, because I don't have a voice, I must not matter very much. And so what happens is that program is installed when we're children. And then when we get older and we know that was, and we start to have a voice and we start to be more powerful in our lives. Let's say we decide we're going to start a business and we have to sell ourselves. We have to sell our ideas or our businesses and stuff. But we find that when we go out and we try to do that, we feel very uncomfortable. And sometimes we feel like a fraud. And there's lots of feelings that come up around that. Well, what it is that we are feeling unworthy because of that old programming inside when we were children. And if we don't know it's there, then it can just run us and it can sabotage our success. So by understanding and becoming aware of that, we can start to make changes to those beliefs. Nini, what about you? Do you have an example of how that affects your life?
Yeah, I deal with a lot of creative people, and for a lot of creative souls, when they were young, they were very sensitive and they could feel and be very aware of the family dynamics, and because of that, they a lot of time come to the conclusion that they're not enough because somehow they couldn't help or support or create a change for their families, and so they grow up with this deep belief that they're not enough. And so for them in their creative fields, whether it's singing or art or theater, there's this deep underlying belief that they somehow are not really that talented or that that people won't pay money for this gift that they have inside of them. And this creates a deep sense of confusion, a deep sense of insecurity for them. And so that belief that you were speaking about earlier for entrepreneurs of just taking that, having that self-confidence and having that ability to put themselves out there is really lacking because they feel fundamentally that they're not enough, that whatever they do, they're not enough. And so I think when one becomes aware that there could be this drive in you that maybe happened at a very young age, and now suddenly in your adult life where you have this incredible gift to sing or to be an artist or be an actor, then it really holds you back till you really break that belief. And then you can really come forward and be authentically that talented, gifted person that you're meant to be. And you, Nicole?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, completely relate to all of that. Absolutely. The I am not enough, the unworthiness. And another component is also feeling unlovable. There was an example, I had quite a crazy childhood, as I know a lot of us did, but at 13, I just didn't want to live in the home I was in anymore. And long story short, I went to grandma's house, and grandma, bless her soul, like beat the crap out of me and told me that I didn't deserve the love that I was getting from my parents. And just this pivotal moment of not wanting to be in the home that I grew up in. And then we used to call it Rita's rehab. Her name was Rita, and she was a feisty, angry old woman. And she's passed, and I know she's looking down on us, and she's happy now, so I can talk about her. But it was such a confusing moment of feeling like I wasn't right in the atmosphere that I was in, and then being put in an even worse atmosphere, and then being told that I wasn't worthy of the love that my parents gave me. She's basically, planted this seed that I was unlovable. And I know I really took that and damaged some relationships that I was in for a long time because of that feeling. And these are all the beautiful things about RTT that I know we all love and that we love sharing, is because even though that was still a part of my story, it's not a story that I have to replay and live in today. So today I don't feel like I'm unlovable or unworthy or not enough like I did even just a few years ago before RTT. And the work is that profound because we can see the different pieces, right? And when we see the different pieces and understand, oh, that makes me feel not lovable, that makes me feel not worthy, and so on and so forth, then we can actually start to shift those when we see them for where they originated and how they've run our lives for so long. And then it does become our choice to change that, especially through this RTT process.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, and so now we want to just talk a little bit about why, how you can reprogram. So we talked a little bit about how it gets programmed, how the programming affects our lives, and now we want to talk about how you reprogram.
Thank you so much for joining the conversation at Speaking Subconsciously. Remember, you are always enough. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.